Hello, I'm Jan Levinsky and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. On the night of the 8th of March, the Kremlin published a traditional video greeting from Russian leader Vladimir Putin on International Women's Day. It seemed like a normal ritual, a few minutes of solemn words, an official tone, and flawless television footage. But this time, something did not go according to plan. In the first few minutes after publication, users noticed that the video looked a bit too lively. In the available footage, which ran for about 6 minutes, Putin began coughing after the first take, complaining of a sore throat and asking for the speech to be rewritten.
Международным женским днем. Да, вы знаете, давайте-ка я еще раз скажу, потому что перешило, да? Да, чуть не закашлялся. Много говорил очень сегодня. Может, принести? Нет. Давайте. Работаем. Дорогие женщины, искренне рад поздравить вас с Международным женским днем.
Now, the video appeared on the Kremlin's Telegram channel as well as on several pro-government channels, but after a few minutes, it was quickly replaced with an abridged version, without the coughing, the pauses, or unnecessary human details. It seems that someone in the press service pressed the publish button before pressing the edit button. It became even more interesting after analyzing the technical data on the file. You see, journalists noticed that this time the Kremlin actually forgot to delete the video metadata, something they have been carefully cleaning up for about a year and a half. The data showed that the video of Putin coughing was recorded about 3 hours before publication. Now, Putin's cough itself is nothing new to the Russian public. For example, during a live broadcast in 2024, he explained it away as being caused by air conditioning, which may indeed cause throat irritation, but this is beside the point. You see, for years, the Kremlin propaganda has been shaping the image of the president as a man with almost superhuman endurance. He supposedly never gets sick, hardly ever takes vacations, and works constantly. That is why even a small technical blunder with a cough looks so funny. It destroys the carefully crafted image of perfect flawlessness. And if we were to end this story with a sprinkle of dark humor, I wonder who's going to accidentally ingest some poison frog cocktail and then descend a few floors via the nearest window? The video editing guy? The presidential speechwriter? The aircon maintenance specialist? All of them? Global conflicts always have one thing in common. They make people ask tough questions. That's exactly what happened after discussions about possible military action against Iran. During surveys and street interviews, some Russians unexpectedly responded with a short but telling phrase, namely, "We are next."
И, конечно, как Америка, не пойму я эту политику американскую. Ну, в общем, это отрицательно, конечно. Тем более у нас свое здесь еще, можно сказать, горе.
Как Чингисхан в свое время сказал, что я хочу новый мир, в котором будет свободная торговля, но для того, чтобы был мир, должна пролиться кровь. Вот. Может быть, это они вспомнили. Но они же это свои интересы только в свою сторону гнут. Вот. Следующее, если мы не будем помогать, будем мы тоже. Нашу страну давно уже хотят поделить на кусочки, разорвать. Так же, как Ближний Восток хотят разорвать, переделать на свой лад.
Я даже не знаю об этом. Я отписалась от всех новостей, ничего не смотрю, ничего не читаю, живу своим узким миром.
Now, it sounds like a nervous joke, but behind it lies a very serious realization. Geopolitical adventures, or indeed misadventures, can have consequences for Russia itself. The more international crises arise in the world, the more often Russians begin to ask themselves, will their country be the next on the list of problems created by its own foreign policy? Many Russians are used to hearing about global plans, strategic alliances, and a new world order on television. But when these conversations are accompanied by sanctions, economic hardship, and constant international conflicts, even the most patient viewers begin to have their doubts. The phrase "we are next" may sound sarcastic, but it shows a change in the prevailing mood. Even in a country with a powerful propaganda machine, people are beginning to notice that each new crisis creates new risks. After the situation around Iran got worse, there was an awkward pause in the Russian media. Moscow talks about partnership, but doesn't show any willingness to act. If Moscow has called Tehran its strategic partner for years, why is Russia now limiting itself to statements and not demonstrating any willingness to provide, real support? Explaining this contradiction has traditionally been entrusted to one of the most prominent voices on Russian television, namely Vladimir Solovyov. His task is to convince the audience that Moscow is acting correctly in this whole affair, and that the responsibility for the lack of assistance lies, wait for it, with Iran itself. In the propaganda interpretation, the situation looks quite simple. Tehran is to blame because it allegedly did not ask Moscow or China for military assistance. The logic is as follows: if they did not ask, then there is no one to save. It is strange why this same logic did not work with Ukraine. But anyway, let's get our daily fix of Solovyov's unique brand of pure nonsense, shall we?
Иран после гибели Раиси пришел к власти президентом. Посмотрим, как он сейчас проявит. Но он был как раз сторонником, и здесь Семен Аркадьевич говорит, и представителем того направления, которое считало, что с Европой и с Америкой можно договориться, снять санкции. Ни одна из этих стран не заключила с нами полномасштабного договора по типу нашего договора с Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой. Ни одна из этих стран, когда наступили критические моменты, не обратилась к нам с просьбой оказать военную помощь. И если в Сирию мы вошли по приглашению, то когда там начались крайние вещи, они не обратились по просьбе помочь. И их армия полностью разбежалась. Потому что те боеспособные подразделения, которые мы подготовили, их задвинули. А нельзя спасти тех, кто не хочет быть спасенным. Вот сейчас вы слышали, чтобы Иран обратился к Китаю, к нам, с просьбой о военной помощи? Я не слышал. Они и договор-то никак ратифицировать не могли, который более чем мягкий. Исходя из этого, задачи, которые должны стоять сейчас перед нашей дипломатией. Нам надо заключить совсем другого. Нам, извините, конечно, вот я не знаю, что такое УДКБ, просто набор букв.
The task of Russian TV presenters in such situations is to quickly come up with a new logical construct that explains any political shift. Yesterday, they were talking about a brotherly union. Today, they are saying that each country must solve its own problems. Makes perfect sense, I guess. Moscow's official rhetoric is often based on the idea of a global coalition of states opposing the West. Now, in this worldview, Russia is one of the centers of power. However, in crisis situations, this coalition suddenly becomes much more conditional. Everything becomes subtle, very complicated all of a sudden, and the Kremlin ends up sending the dreaded thoughts and prayers. Imagine being Moscow's ally, learning all this the hard way. Buy Bashar al-Assad a drink, and he might just have a story to tell. Nicolas Maduro would happily join in also, but for him, orange recently became the new black, because Russia would not bail him out. And naturally, if you have a Ouija board at hand, you can certainly try and talk to a certain Ayatollah who could also tell you why his regime is in trouble because Moscow decided that friendship has its limits. As for Iran itself, right here and right now, well, remember the lettuce test? Wonder how long Tehran's regime is going to last while Moscow is sitting this one out. And with this, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news, updates, and commentary.